it in the world to only study hard and get a good job, but they don't, which is fine. That's a good thing to do, but what you do with the money when you get it. And that's why I say, even with the prosperity message, it's not complete. And that's why I try to do it in a way where it's spiritual, but it's also natural. Because the question is, when you get blessed with the money, now what you do with it? You can get blessed all day, but if you don't know how to handle it and control it and be a good steward, your prosperity is not going to last long. So, but, I don't hear a lot of stewardship when I hear prosperity messages. I don't. And, and sometimes it's leaned to one side where you just give it to me and then God give it back to you, which is for the most part what you hear, which is fine, as long as you put it on good ground. But in order for them to me, complete the whole thing, they need to tell you that this is how you manage your money and be good stewards. And not be a burden on your family or even on the church. So the rich, on the other hand, teach their children how to use the funds that they have to create more money. Can you see the difference? They use what the rich or the people, upper class or middle class, whatever you want to call it, what they do, they show them how to take the money they have and create more money with it, and by investing or doing whatever, or drawing interest, instead of just spending it all the time. And I've done a message before called maximizing the money that God has blessed you with. And sometimes it's not about how much you make, but it's about what you do with it. How you maximize, how you make your money grow. Or saving money, not just saving money, put in the bank, but that's why I tell people, if you order fast food from any restaurants around here like Chick-fil-A, just like I ordered stuff from Chick-fil-A for y'all, see, I get credit on some of this stuff because I can redeem some of the money back to pay for it, because when I do it on the app, it creates rewards. So a lot of times I can buy a lot of stuff and pay only half price if I want to do it that way. But you don't get those deals when you go to the store and just stand there and order. And I tell people all the time, if you go to a certain place like Chick-fil-A or Burger King, get the app and put it on your phone. Then that way when you order it, you'll get the deals and you get the rewards. And then that way you can go get a meal and not even pay for it because you redeem it. So like I said, it's not about that's how much money you make, is what you do with it, and how you save and you on stuff that you would have spent money on in the first place. Page 3. Anybody got any questions? Come on, ask questions anyway, because I always do. But if you want to ask a question as I go along, I don't want you to wait till the end. I want you to ask as we go. Then that way you don't have to try to remember it. But I will ask questions because they're already part of the discussion. So, for example, he writes, the rich know that savings is used to create more money and not only to pay bills. And that's what he pushes. He says that it's not only just to pay bills and just to make money and pay bills, it's also to create more money. And that's what you use money, that's what you invest your money for. You save it, or you buy, or you put in your 401k. If you're not comfortable investing with mutual funds or stocks, then if you have a job that got a 401k, then you can pick the stocks from that, because most jobs 401k will give you stock options to buy anyway. And then that way you still invest in your money, so that way when you get a return, it compounds on itself. Especially if you got a job like mine, when you put in 8% minimum and they give you 4% back. They put in 4%. So in other words, I put in 8%, I'm automatically getting a 12% return. I'm getting a 4% return just on the 8% because they put that in there. Plus they put additional 5% in there on top of that. So if I just did 8% minimum plus 4%, that's 12%. Then they put 5% on top of that. Then that's 17% of the money being invested. And I've only put in 8% of my own. So the money is basically doubled every month. And that's how you create more money. Now, of course, every job don't do that, but most jobs do have matching, where you put in a minimum and then they put in a certain amount. And you can't beat that. And you kind of get that on Social Security too, because when your job You put, when they take that Social Security out your check, but your job got to match it. So in a way, even with your Social Security, you're getting a additional percentage. I think it's 7.5. I remember right. That goes in there. So in a way, you kind of getting an extra on that too. But you don't see that money every month. You only see it when you get ready to draw it. And that's how it accumulates. Because if you ever look at your Social Security statement on what you would get at a certain age, and you just multiply that by how long you think you'll live, you probably end up getting more money than you put in. So let's go by definition. Talk about the budget. Estimation of income and expenses over the specific future period of time. I'm not going to read all that. So you estimate your income, how much you're going to spend, and then how much you're going to save, how much you're going to pay your tithes and offering, and then how you going, then about your vacation, your entertainment. You have to write it down. Savings is the amount of money that's left over after subtracting a person's expenditure from the amount of income that he or she earns in a given period of time. So basically, your savings should be what's left over after you spend and give your offerings and your tithes or whatever. Everybody can save. It's just a matter of if you want to do it or not. Personal debt that is to be paid back to someone or a financial institution as a result of monies borrowed, buying items with loans or credit. So we all going to have to get credit some kind of way, because it's almost impossible to live in this country without credit. It's like if you go rent a car, I don't care how much cash you got, you better have a credit card. And if you don't have one, you're not getting it. So the thing is you need it. And of course, I should say you should need it for emergencies, like you're on the side of the road, you're out of town and your car's stuck and you don't have AAA, to come get it. You have to pay somebody to do it. So it's best to have a credit card anyway, Because a lot of people don't carry cash anymore, and a lot of people don't want to take no checks either. So you need a credit card. You need credit. You need to buy a house. You need to buy a car. So you got to have credit. So consumer personal spending is the amount of money spent by individual family over a period of time. The spending normally includes durable items such as washing machines, non-durable items such as food. So it's just basically what you spend out of your personal income. Question number one, in your opinion, who wastes the money the most, men or women? You got one couple here. You should be able to answer that question. Neither one of y'all waste money? Depends on what you call waste. Yeah. Because what you think is waste, she don't. Name something she like to buy and you don't think she needs to get it. Is it shoes? Okay, well that's good. Anything you buy, she don't think you need to get. When you go to work, do you take your lunch or you eat out? Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, I thought I had something. But I didn't. Well, I'm going to ask her, did she take lunch? Do you take lunch? Okay. You do what now? Oh, you did? Okay. Okay, we're good. Because I take mine. No, I take mine. That's the first thing I do when I wake up. I make my lunch. First thing I do. Then that way, that's saving money right there. Because you're going to spend $5, $6, $7, $8 on lunch nowadays. It's not cheap. Cheaper for you to make it yourself. Discussion number one, do you know where your money is? You need to make a conscious decision about spending and saving. So you need to make a conscious decision about spending and saving. You can't not just do it on the side of your hip, or just doing it on a whim. You got to make a conscious decision about it. Because if you don't, you won't do it. And at work, I talk to a lot of people when they get really retired, about how they going to live. I said, okay, now you're going to retire, you're going to have less money. Can you live off that? And because I said, if you can't live off it now, how you going to live off it in a year? So I tell people, I tell them what to do. I said, take what you think you can get for Social Security and your pension, because most of the people out there get pensions, because they've been out. They don't give it anymore, but most of the ones that retire are getting it. I said, then you subtract that from what you get now. Can you put that difference in the bank right now? Oh no, I can't do that. How can you retire? You can't put away the difference you're gonna lose in the bank now. How you gonna retire or pay down debt or whatever? And then you gonna have more time to spend money too, because you ain't gonna be doing nothing. So I guess next thing you're gonna be doing, you're gonna have to find you a part-time job. I don't know. I just think for some reason people think when we retire, the money would come. I don't know why they think it would be easier. It's gonna be harder. We're gonna have some people come back to work out there as contractors because they couldn't make it. Because they like to spend money and they want, so they realize, hey, if I'm gonna spend money, I better come on back out here. And then, I don't want my 401k to go empty, because I always tell people I'm gonna do a retirement thing here, and in 401k, you should try to make that thing last 25 years. Because you don't want to run out of money, especially if you retire with a house note. So I'm not saying you're gonna have it the whole time, but you don't want to run out of money because people are living longer now. So you got to find out, page 4, you got to find out where your money's going. Make your own informed choices about where you want it to go. You must learn how to fund your retirement and save money for everything from emergencies to vacation. You'd be surprised how much you can save if you really want to. Because I talk about this later as we go down the sheet. But live below what you make. If you do that as you go along and as you get promotions and increases, it'll be so easy to do because you're used to it. You should always know where your money went that you spent. You should always know where the money you have now is located and how much. So you should always not only just look on the bank statement, but go out there online and look at it and get an idea. By the way, we got some food back there on the table if y'all want to get it, but y'all can get it on the way out if you want to. But if you want to snack on something, go ahead. So you should keep up with your money just the same way you keep up with your children or your grandkids. You keep up with them, keep up with your money, same way. Question number 2, when you realize that you spent too much money, what is your reaction? What is your reaction when you realize you spent too much money? What do you say? Does anybody say anything when they realize, hey, has anybody ever spent too much money and they didn't want to do that much? Yeah. And then you say, man, I didn't know I'd done that. Well, you got to eat. Well, I'm going to tell you a trick to that. I do most of my grocery shopping online now. I don't go to the grocery store that much anymore. And I make a grocery list every week on my phone, on the internet, Walmart or Kroger. Because they got different stuff. And what I try to do is keep it at a certain amount of money every week. And then by doing that, it makes me disciplined where if I go to the store, I'm probably just start grabbing everything because I'm going through all the aisles. You'd be surprised how much you can remember what you need and not get what you don't need. And since I've been doing that, I've been doing this now for 2 years. Since I've been doing that, my grocery bill has went down because I'm not buying stuff on the whim. I'm just buying what I need, not something I see. And sometimes once a month I go in the store and like in Publix now I walk the aisle in there. Because sometimes you just want to go in and see stuff, then I may buy something that I didn't plan on buying, but that's only one time a month. You see what I'm saying? But you got to be, when COVID started, a lot of the grocery stores started letting you order online, but everybody's not good at doing that. But once you start doing it, somebody teach you how to do it, it's pretty simple. And I find out I spend less money. If I go over a certain amount of money, like if I'm making my list and I go over a certain amount of money to add it up, I start deleting stuff because there's some stuff on there I probably didn't need. I said, well, I can get that next time. Well, I'm not out of this yet because I always try to have a backup for everything. I don't want to run out of nothing. So if I'm down to one of something, I always try to get the backup. But if I got enough, I say, well, I can put that on the next week's list and then take it off this list. And it's It has saved me money because I'm not doing frivolous shopping. I'm not standing in the line and I'm looking at the little rack with all that candy and all that other stuff over there I didn't plan on buying it in the first place. So that's one tip. If you're computer savvy, or even, I don't even do it on the computer. I do it on my phone. I have an app, so I just order it, or just go online and do it on my phone. So, and once you start doing it, and then if you don't remember what you ordered last time, they'll show you your purchase history, and they say, oh yeah, I get this, and then you add it up, and then we go to your budget. Then you just cut back and you put it on next week's list, and then that way you don't spend too much money. A lot of times you don't know what it's gonna be until you get to the cash register. But if you're doing it on your phone, you can see it adding up. So you can already stop. You can say, okay, stop, that's enough. So what is your corrective action if you realize you spend too much then? So what you do since you answered that question? So how you prevent that from happening next time? One thing you need to do, go to the grocery store full. Never go to the grocery store hungry. You know why? Because you're going to buy up the whole place. Because if you go in there full, you're not going to want, it's not like you're going to cook it all at one time, But psychologically, you're going to spend more money when you go in the grocery store hungry. If you just stop by the McDonald's, get you some fries or something, put in your stomach, or a little small hamburger, and that way you won't be, So discussion number 2, we all know how to make money. However, do we know how to budget and spend it wisely? You should always budget your expenditures. Try to live off only 80-85%. Sometimes I tell you 75%. If you live off 80% of what you make, you always have. You'll never be broke. I'm telling you. If you can live off 80% of what, and don't worry about the gross. Just as far as your spending, try to do it by what goes into your account because it's easy to do it that way. And but the thing is, if you can do that by 75%, you be able to pay all your tithes and offering, you be able to pay your bills, you'd be surprised what you can do if you can live off it, And then when something happens, you won't be in a panic. Like if somebody loses their job or you relying on 2 incomes and all that stuff, then you won't, it won't be so bad. Or if something happens out of the ordinary. So I'll let y'all go through those percentages on your own. I kind of give you an example of how you can break down the percentages of different things so you can use that example and do a sheet. Now, I gave out a budget sheet like last month, a quick budget sheet. I think I did it about maybe last month or month before last. So everybody should have got one. If you didn't get it, let me know. I didn't bring none tonight, but if you didn't get it, let me know. I'll bring you one. But you can do this with a pen and pencil and a calculator based on these percentages. Now these budgets on page 5, these budget B, these budget percentages are examples of how you can allocate your monthly income to categories. You may need to add some categories to take away some. Take away some categories. You should always write down what you got to have. Anything that is not a need, it's a want. So the want is what gets you, because the wants is something you want, but you don't necessarily have to have it. So those are the ones you got to control, because the needs you can't. Those are kind of like out of control, because you got to have gas for your car, you got to pay your bills. You want to give to the Lord. So the thing is, the wants is where it kills people, because that's when they start overspending. You may need to adjust your lifestyle. You can't, and sometimes you can't live like somebody else either. Can't live like somebody else. I don't care if y'all grew up in the same house. It don't mean you got their money, or it don't mean you got their debt either, because they could be, spending money they ain't got, by charging it. So the goal is for you to start writing down where your money is going each month. So these are some websites. You can go to mint.com. That's like a, based on other than what that spreadsheet, that budget sheet I give you, you can go out there and do and keep your stuff online. Your expenditures, you can get a free budget spreadsheet. I always talk about Dave Ramsey. He talks about money and budgeting and living off less than you have, and using biblical scriptures. Also, when he does his radio show, which comes here locally. Or you can go online and go to his website. You can hear the latest radio show. He talks about stuff. But that's where you can get that quick budget sheet from, too, if you want to print it out. If not, I can give it to you if you need it. And go to crown.org. Crown.org is a biblical ministry. They talk about how to manage money God's way. Larry Burkett founded that company, that website a long time ago before he died in 1999, and then it's carrying on. And they do a radio show every day. I think 89.3, the Christian station, 88.3. They have it every day. I think at 6 o'clock. You can hear it. I think the show used to be called Money Matters. Now they call it, I think it's Compass now. They changed the name of the show. So, but it's biblical. So, and people be calling in, and that's what I like about the shows like these, because it's all based on how to manage your money using biblical scriptures and biblical principles. That's why it's easy, to do it. In your opinion, what is the hardest thing in sticking to a budget? What is the hardest thing to stick to a budget? What's the hardest thing? Trying to stick to a budget. What do you think the hardest thing is? Is it eating out? Is that the hardest thing? Trying to see what people have a hard thing doing, Is it so what's the hardest thing you got that you got to stop doing? Is it buying, I always tell Renee the hardest thing she had to do is stop buying shoes and clothes every weekend, because I say after a while you ain't gonna have no place for that stuff. And but that was like talking to a 10 ear. Can't hear it. So we worked out things so she can get what she wants, and then we still can stick to our budget. And we did it real well. But I thought some things was a waste of money. She didn't. That's why I say, y'all, it depends on you, who the person is and what they spending, what you think is a waste. So, but we just compromised and worked it out. So what does y'all think y'all spend extra? Do y'all spend I don't know, besides eating out? What y'all do? What about Christmas presents? What about gifts and stuff? Do y'all spend too much money on Christmas presents? Do y'all try to keep it within the budget? I'm sure there's a budget for Christmas presents, right? So, I know it's hard to think about some stuff because, but sometimes when your budget get out of whack, that means something's gone wrong. And then you got to figure out what it is. That's why you got to write this stuff down so you can know. I know it's tough, but it's so easy now to keep up with your money now because you got, your banking is done online. You see your bank account, and it tells you everything you spend every day. And it's easy. It's easier. And then you got to do check registers online too, so you don't have to keep a bank check register anymore unless you want to. And then every time you use your debit card, that's an instant. It's gonna hit your bank instantly. The only time it won't if you hit credit, because debit card can be hit credit or debit. The only time you got to have your PIN is when you're taking out getting money back. So you always need to use your PIN if you're relying on your register online, because I say probably within the next hour or so, it's going to be out there, especially the next morning too. Credit, it may take a day or two. It may not be instant. So fall in love with your money. And that's a metaphor, of course. But if you fall in love with your money, you want to keep it. You don't want to get rid of something you're in love with, right? You can't say I'm in love with somebody, you want to kick them to the curb. It don't work that way. Same thing with the money. So then that way you keep it as long as you can. It won't leave you. For example, take your lunch to work, eat out less than twice a week. Now I know people gonna eat out, so I'm just saying just try to do it only twice a week. If you can limit yourself to twice a week, okay, let's give Sunday. Okay, Sunday's a giving. All right, so let's do that up front. Now then you got to figure out the other day. To me, my 2 days are Thursdays and Sundays. Those are my 2 days I designate to eat out. they eat, well, not necessarily eat out, they take out. I don't, those are my 2 days right there. And sometimes if I did what I did this week, I went to S&S on Monday, got some liver and onions. Then Thursday, I won't do it because I got their hotline, and when I call it, if they say liver and onions, I'm going because they don't have it they don't have it every day. But then I got to say to myself, with Thursday, you know, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna have to go home. Go ahead. Right. Right. Before. Right. They keeping you in line, ain't they? What I always say, somebody got to put the stop sign up. Right. And that's another thing about shopping with an app, like with Walmart. You got the digital coupons right there. And what they do when you pick an item, it'll tell you to click the coupon if there's one. So you ain't got to go be looking for it. So you can get $1 off here, $1 off there. And sometimes when I order enough stuff, they'll give me a reward, which they say, okay, we're going to give you credit for $6 on this order. You don't get that going into the store. See? I mean, you get the coupons if you want to collect them, but you got to go cut them out somewhere, you know. Or you got to have the little but Walmart don't even have that. It's Food Line and Kroger got that little thing you can scan, you know. So it's you know, it's ways to save money. That little money adds up. You'd be surprised over a period of time how it adds up. But at least you're conscious of it. You know, some things, like I said, draw less than $40 a week from the ATM machine. Try to buy clothes off season. Buy a discount. That's what I do. I buy all my clothes off season. I very seldom buy anything in season. Anything. I don't say I haven't done it. I may buy 1 or 2 things in season. That's it. Everything is out of season. Like if I'm going to buy something right now, I'm looking at short sleeve shirts. And, you know, I may not wear it for like 6 months, but who cares? Just hang up there till I wear it. But you get them at half price. Then you won't, you know. And even the good stores like dealers, you can get that stuff at 50 to 75% off. And it's quality clothes. And you don't spend a lot of money on it. So, you know, I don't shop for clothes like I used to. But when I want something, I go get it. But I try to buy it off season. Well, you know, everybody know about the Marshalls and TJ Maxx. Me and Renee first got married. She got me going to Goodwill. I didn't know anything about Goodwill, so she taught me that. And you can find some good stuff in Goodwill because people give some good clothes away to that place. You know, you buy the off-brand, get the coupons. If I see like I need some of those Ziploc bags, I look at what Walmart brand is and what Hefty is. If they the same amount, I'm gonna buy the Walmart brand because it's cheaper. Use off-brand gas stations. You'd be surprised they're cheaper, especially if you got a Sam's membership or a Costco. That's why they be so backed up over there, because it's so cheap. Give yourself a 24-hour timeout before you make a major purchase. I use $250 because what me and Renee used. That was our limit for each other to buy something without talking to each other about it. Bank online or keep good checkbook records. Now you can change that to $500, whatever you want to do, but I just kind of threw it out there. You use your checkbook to record your transactions, subtract $50 or less from the amount that is deposited in your account. Now, I'm going to tell you who taught me that trick. Renee taught me that trick. When we first got married, I balanced her checkbook. I said, wait a minute now. Have you been keeping up with this? And I, you know, because I balanced her checkbook because I wanted to get rid of it. Because we had merged, I put her on my checkbook. Like when she got to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Because I wanted to get rid of her account. But when I did her reconciliation, now she was keeping up with balances on the checkbook, but she never did reconcile her statement. So when I reconciled her statement, she had all this money. I said, you got way more money in here than you on your balance. She said, well, I said, how'd that happen? She said, because I take $50 off every time I get paid. She only put in, whatever her pay was, she subtracted $50 and wrote it in there as a deposit. I said, why you do that for? She said, well, I mean, I didn't do it to save money. I did it to keep from bouncing checks. Just in case. So, and then it ended up being, I said, man, this is all right. I said, we can put this in and say, no, what? Man, she wouldn't spend that money so quick. And I said, well, I started doing it. And, when we first got married, I don't do it anymore, but I started doing it. Because back then is when you kept everything with checkbook. And you'd be surprised how much that accumulates. And then maybe once a year when you reconcile it, then you take that money out and you use it for like Christmas presents or buy something you need, or buy something for the house. Even though you're not drawing no interest on it, that's not the point. The point is almost like getting another income tax check in a way, so. I thought that was pretty smart. I said, that's pretty smart. Now your goal is to keep $1,000 in the bank or credit union for emergencies. Have your bank, transfer the money out so you won't have to worry about trying to do it yourself. Make sure you know your balance where you use your debit card. So you should always know your balance. That's why, I got to have it every morning when I get up after I make my lunch, I check my account to see, what happened with transactions, whatever. Just to have it. Make sure you know your balance before you use it. Like I said, review your cable bill, get rid of premium or unnecessary channels. See, a lot of people getting rid of their cable now because it's so expensive. They're going through streaming and it's cheaper. But it just, streaming is, you got to know what you're doing, to find what you want to look for when you're streaming. But a lot of people are going to it. Use your cell phone a lot, only have the minimum features needed on your home phone. So you still got a home phone number? Like I still got one for emergencies, but I don't have no long distance on it. No star 69, no call. I just got call waiting and that's it. And half the time I use the phone at home to find my cell phone because I call it. Because if I can't find it, I say, oh, let me go call it. Then I go find it. But sometimes when we have these hurricanes or these high winds, they tear those towers up. Your home phone is the only thing going to work. I learned that a long time ago. Well, if you got kids or grandkids, little kids at home, make sure they know how to call 911 with your cell phone. And because if you don't have the home phone, you're going to be in trouble because a lot of them, and you got to tell them what your PIN is so they can get to it. If not, they're going to be running to somebody's house. If you lay down on the floor, they can't even call 911 because they don't know how to use your cell phone. Try to reduce your life insurance, medical, and auto insurance premiums. Increase your deductible on your car and medical insurance. You'd be surprised if you increase your deductible at least $500 in your car. And some people put $1,000. I have $1,000 on mine, on the house too, because then you pay less premiums. Because I keep my car so long, it doesn't matter because most of the time, if I told it, it's going to be gone anyway, so it doesn't make no difference. But for a new car, because most times you're going to have damage, you're going to have more than $1,000 for the most part. But you save money doing that. If your car is worth less than $1,000, $1,500, and it's paid for because you don't have liability. My Cadillac is 2011. It got 227,000 miles on it. I went online the other day. It's only worth $1,800. That hurt my feelings. But it's paid for, so I'm just gonna keep liability on it. That's it. I don't need collision because they all they'll do is give me the money anyway. They ain't gonna try to fix it because it's too old. Not gonna do it. Try not to have two car payments if you can. Try to keep your car 8 to 10 years. Just your heat. Like when I leave the house, the first thing I do is just my heat or air. If it's heat, it's going to 68. If it's air, it's going to 78 when I walk out. So it still be on, but it's not going to be running, and it's not going to jack my bill up. Or you can you let your bill be the same payment this month with Georgia Power. You live in South Carolina, there's Dominion Energy. For married, so you can have that budget thing. For married couples, one of y'all got to be stingy, like I said before. Question 4, in your opinion, what would you do? I got 5 minutes. What would you do with a 5% pay raise? If you got a 5% pay raise right now, what would you do with it? Somebody. If you can't answer, okay, I'll tell you what to do with it. Save at least half of it and pay debt down with the other half. Because you didn't have it last month. Then that way, when you get a pay raise, you constantly be trying to focus on your debt because that's money you just got that you didn't have before. Or you can just save all of it or pay down all your debt. What do you want to do? Now, I would suggest you could keep some of it, just reward yourself. But don't keep most of it, keep some of it. And then you take the rest of it and pay down debt or save it or whatever. Pay down debt, use the debit snowball method. You see that on page 8. I got that Ramsey website. He believes in that. And I tell you, when I first started listening to him, because I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, he had a local show then. He wasn't national then. And I heard him say that. I said, man, that makes sense. You pay down you list your debt, you pay the smallest one first, no matter what the interest rate is. You just pay that one first. You pay the minimum on the rest of it. I'm just going to this real quick. You can read this on your own. You can pay the minimum on all the other debt. And then the smallest one with the smallest balance, that's when you pay more than the minimum. And once you pay that off, do the same thing for the next smallest balance. And then it'll snowball. And you know what a snowball do when it rolls down the hill, it gets bigger. That means you're rolling over that debt. That's what it means. And if you just do that, and just do that every month, just write it down and say, okay, what's my smallest debt? I'm going to pay the minimum on everything else, credit card, car, whatever. And then this debt, which is the smallest debt, I'm going to make an extra payment. I'm going to say, I'm instead of paying the minimum 50, 25, I'm going to pay 50. And just stick to it, and it'll go down fast. And don't use that card no more. That's why you probably need to have more than one card. Then that way, if you need a mercy, you put on another card, the one that you make the minimum payments on. Everybody understand what I'm saying, how that works? So, all right. And then you're debt free. You can make your own self debt free. I believe in spiritual debt. You got a question? I can't hear you. You probably use the mic. Well, I think artificial intelligence, I talked about that during the Signs of the Times about a month or so ago. That's the next thing. I'm in it. So now, if you don't want to buy the individual stocks, it's best to buy a mutual fund that has all those stocks in it. That way you got to pick them. Or if you do, online trading, you can buy what they call an ETF, exchange trade fund. And then that way you can put the money in there on a regular basis, and then that way you want to try to pick each individual stock. But if you're going to invest in something long term, I would suggest that. Well, long term can be short term too, because it's so hot. You ever listen to your phone when you get those robocalls? That don't be real people. You know that, right? You can see it's a robotic call. It's robotic. It's somebody's voice. That's why those people in Hollywood was getting all upset, because you ever go to watch a movie and you see a crowd like in a baseball stadium, and those people are what they call extras. They pay them to sit there and holler, scream. They may not show the whole stadium, but they show a portion where you think it's full. Well, with artificial intelligence, if they take a snapshot of those folks, they can use that image anywhere. Again, they ain't got to hire those people. You watch I watched that movie. What's that movie that's out? Had Indiana Jones in it. That came out this summer. What was it? The guy that played Indiana Jones, he's Harrison Ford. He's about 75 years old now. But when the movie started off, they had him in the original Indiana Jones that came out in the 80s in the movie. And I said, well, how in the world can he be in the movie, be 30 years younger and look 30 years younger, and he's old? Well, artificial intelligence. They took his image and they put it in the movie and put it on the body and made him talk. Yeah. That's why artificial intelligence is very dangerous too. And I believe it's an end time thing too, because I think the Antichrist is going to use it. So that way he can project himself anywhere in the world at one time, and you don't even know whether it's him or not. You ever heard of those things they call the where they can take dead people and put them on stage and make them sing like they was alive? What do they call those things? You ever seen them? They got a name for it. I can't think of the name for it now. But they can take somebody who's dead and take anything they sung or image of them, and they can put them on stage right next to you. They got a name for it. I can't think of it. And you looking at TV, you think that person's there for real. So it got its good points and its bad points, but it's also going to eliminate jobs, because some jobs is going to. If you look at that movie that came out like 10, 15 years ago called I, Robot, you ever seen that movie, I, Robot? Go look it up and look at it. That's the future right there, where they gonna take over. The robots gonna take over. That's artificial intelligence. Because they was programmed to do a certain thing, but then as they progress, they start getting smarter and start doing things on their own. You know, without nobody, adding anything to their mindset. It's kind of scary though, but I think the Antichrist. But these things are supposed to happen. I think the Antichrist is going to use technology to rule. I just believe it. And they're just one more thing he's going to use. That's all. But it's going to be good for your cars. It's going to be good for your stuff in your house. It's going to be some good stuff coming out of it too. But all technology can be used for bad too, though. We know that. Okay, my last page. Cause I'm about 2 minutes over. So, in your opinion, what can you do to celebrate the reduction of debt? You can do the snowball thing we just talked about. You can take the extra pay raise and use that to reduce debt. Those are 2 examples. You can stop using the credit card. You can say, okay, for this 6 months, I'm not going to use my credit card unless it's an emergency. And you'd be surprised that you can do it. Financial biblical scriptures. This Amplified Bible, but seek, aim, and strive after, first of all, his kingdom and his righteousness, his way of doing and being right. And then all these things taken together will be given to you. And see, you can use this in different circumstances. Like if you take what the Bible talks about, stewardship and doing stuff like that, and wisdom, you can apply that to it. Because if you seek him out first and you pray about this stuff, Lord, help me with my finances. I told y'all when I was a kid, when I was 13 or 14 years old, I asked the Lord to teach me, to show me how not to be broke. I didn't care about having money. I didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to financially struggle. I may not use the word broke, but let me try and give you an example of what I asked. Show me how to manage my money. I didn't have no money at 14. Who got money at 14? I didn't. I know all y'all got allowances. I didn't get no allowance. Man, you had to scrape up money the best way you can. But when I got my job, when I started working at McDonald's, I applied, and the Lord showed me how to keep, how to pay my tithes and save money. I've always had money. I've never been broke my life. Never. Always had money. Because I lived off only what I made, and I lived less than what I made. When I came in the Army, I was only making $450 a month, even though I wouldn't, I didn't have to sleep. I had free housing and free food, but still, $450, that's nothing. I was making more money working at McDonald's when I worked overtime. Now, over a period of time, as I got promoted and things happened, it accelerated, but I lived off what I made, and that was it. I never called home and said I need money. Never. I never had to do it because I always had it. Psalm 37:21. The wicked borroweth and paid not again, but the righteous showeth. How you pronounce that word? Showeth. I think he's trying to say showeth mercy and giveth. But see, you gotta, other words, you gotta pay your bills. That's what this is basically talking about. When you borrow money, pay your bills. Because when you don't pay your bill, that's when it start escalating. You start having bad credit, then you borrow money, then you don't get pay it back because you didn't take care of your business in the first place. And I know with a business is tough because you relying on money you may not get on a regular basis, but at the same time, your advantage is you got somebody who's getting money on a regular basis, so you can balance it out. I always tell people, both of y'all don't need to be trying to, make money on your own because it's too risky in my opinion. And plus, it's hard to get benefits and health insurance and all that stuff when you out there, both of y'all out there trying to make money, but then we get sick or something happen, then you can take everything you ever got and it's gone. It's gone. That's why I tell people, I said, try to get a job, got benefits. If you don't, you playing with fire, because if something happens, what you gonna do? You got life insurance to the side, you got Obamacare for health insurance. That's what you got to do if you're gonna do stuff like that. All right. Anybody got any questions? Y'all can read the summary of your own. And remember your faith in, I should say, God, I don't know good. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I didn't go over this. Plus your financial wisdom, plus your financial stewardship equals your prosperity. They go to show you I typed this myself. All right, I'm going to pray. It's over. I went 7 minutes over. That's not bad. Sometimes, most of the time I go to 8:30. Okay. Are you going to do the offense, right? Okay, I'll let you pray then.